and welcome to the GameBYTES show video podcast. We're going to do a new segment today, so lucky viewers. We're going to call this one earlyBYTES. I am your host, Jerod Dunn, joined with me, as always, Mr. Jeremy Lawman Lamont.
Hello, good evening.
Howdy, howdy. So today we're going to be playing a new game. A Kickstarted game. A game that's not done. We're going to be doing Shroud of the Avatar. So who's a fan of Ultima?
Me.
Me.
You can't see it.
It's okay.
Big Ultima fan, going way back.
Yeah. So Shroud of the Avatar is Lord British Richard Garriott's, I guess, spiritual successor to the Ultima. He doesn't own the Ultima name, but I guess he owns the Avatar name. I don't know.
Well, he sort of owns the Avatar space. I mean, I think that's what he is most well known for. He's had a few other projects since then. Tabula Rasa, I think, was the most famous one, which did not really take off. Arts is the property holder for Ultima and all of that old Origin stuff. So he got together with a couple of other people. Actually, Star Long, who was one of his cohorts in the old Ultima franchise, is on this, and a few other people, and also author Tracy Hickman is writing the story.
That's right.
So quite an interesting and storied group of people who've been working on this.
We're pontificating on the stream here, so everyone should enjoy that. Yeah, so really big fan personally of the Ultima series. In fact, interesting. I cannot stop. I cannot move while pontificating. When does it end?
I think we found one of the first early access bugs. Permanent emoting. Okay. We're good. We're moving. So interesting Red Eye fact: Ultima Online, released in 1997, which I played upon release, was the first real PC game I played, and was basically the end for consoles for me. I never really went back after playing Ultima Online for 3 whole years. And then that's pretty late. I don't want to shame you or your proud gaming heritage, but yeah. Ultima Online was the very first PC game you ever played.
Well, I mean, not necessarily the first. So I dabbled a little bit in, SimCity, the original before then, but Ultima Online was the first time I actually owned my own computer. Let's just say my parents were not the most technical savvy, and so yeah, that was basically the first time I started PC gaming in earnest. Before then, it was all Nintendo and I think Sega Genesis or something.
Not to turn this into too much Ultima Online talk, but I just want to share that it was my first. I mean, I guess it was probably one of the first MMOs. I mean, there were things that were kind of like it going way back, but I was so excited. I was looking forward to Ultima Online so much that I printed out all of the reference material on the website and made I bound it into a little book, and I took it camping with me so that I could read the manual for Ultima Online before it came out.
That's pretty good.
When the game did come out, I got the collector's edition with the little pewter UO pin, and I wore it to work. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm talking about this stuff.
So I had the pewter pin as well. I got the collector's edition. So here's my interesting Ultima-related story. It is maybe not quite as nerdy as your camping guide thing, but
it's a little nerdy, yeah.
As pretty ultra dweeb. So I bought the game, the collector's edition, from Electronic Boutique, right? And I got it home, I got it installed, and I got it patching on my dial-up modem, 56.6K, right? And then we left for vacation for 2 weeks. We went to Hawaii on family vacation.
Man.
I was
Hawaii,
in
that sucks for you, Hawaii.
Junior high, and so I made the mistake actually of activating my account because I was just so excited. So I actually lost 2 weeks of the free account, but whatever. And so when we get home, we come flying home, and it's like all I'm thinking about, of course, is this Ultima Online while I'm on vacation. I just couldn't enjoy Hawaii, but So we finally get home, and we flew in out of LAX to Dallas on the red-eye flight. And so it's 4 a.m. when I get home. I sit down at the computer, which is still on because I left it patching the game. Of course, my modem had long since kicked off, but I dialed back in and connected right away, and it asked me for a character name. I was like, I have no idea. So I named him Red-Eye.
How about that?
That's pretty good. So these are great stories that people are not interested in at all. So we are in the game. We are actually in what is called the Overland map, running through a field of daisies. So I have a quest, and we're just going to kind of poke around this game a little bit, just to kind of check it out. One of the goals of this series is to sort of explore the early access games, kind of what their state is, what their playability level is, if they're fun yet, you know, that kind of thing. We're not going to do reviews in the strongest sense of the word. I don't really want to get into that sphere, but basically we just want to kind of poke around and let people kind of see what it's like, see what we think about it, and kind of what we think the potential for the game is. So I actually have a few quests I picked up. One is to go to this East Perennial Trail, which I see I'm in, so we'll pop in and maybe we can find some combat. So the game is a combo...
So tell me a little bit about the release schedule on this, because I have to say I've seen you play this previously, and it looks like it's actually gotten substantially better from even the last, I want to say, 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, they do a pass about once a month, I want to say, for... Yeah, he's a little quiet. I don't know how to fix your sound. I've tried many things. I don't know if it's me.
Personal.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. I've played this off and on. The first big stretch I played this was actually last year during the Extra Life marathon, but they do patches. They're up to version 19. It does not say it anywhere up here. But they're basically in their major release 19, which just came out a few weeks ago. They do one about once a month. Ish. It may not be a strict schedule, but I want to say I see updates about once a month. And they do pretty major things. So they'll do new zones monthly. Right now I think they're focusing on combat, on the way combat works. So how, you know, the way skills work, the way the mechanics kind of play out. But you know, combat, there's a bad guy. Let's kill him. So the combat's been there for a while, and I actually just realized I don't have a combat deck equipped, so I'll have to oh dear, this could be the end of our adventure. So it's kind of okay. We're gonna run away. This is not gonna work. So the combat is kind of interesting in that it's kind of like a deck building game in a sense. So you, outside of when you're actually fighting, unlike what I just did. Let me see if I can remember the key. Here we go. Great. So you go through and you build your combat deck, and basically, you know, you can do your different skills. So I have some skills up here, which I get for trading into the different lines. Let's see if I can remember what that is. Skills. Here we go. So under adventuring, under combat, which is of course what I'm doing, I trade into heavy armor and pole arms, which is what you saw me equipped with, like a halberd-looking thing, I guess. I don't know. A long pointy stick.
Something that I understand about this game is that you don't actually have character classes. Everything is just based on the skill tree, right? So you decide what it is you're going to do, and you go do it.
Right, and it's a lot like the. I mean, that's pretty much a staple for kind of the Ultima series in general. Particularly Ultima Online, where
you would choose character classes in.
Yeah, but it was still pretty open, though, if I recall. I mean, Ultima Online, you would choose a, quote, class, and it just changed what your starting sort of abilities were.
It would be like +2 to strength, -1 to dexterity, or something like that.
Yeah, and if you got into the game and decided that strength's for wimps, you could just change on the fly. You didn't have to re-roll a new character like most RPGs and MMOs today, where it's like, oh, you're a ranger, you know, good luck, you're always going to be a ranger with these ranger archetype.
I like that characterization. Strength is for wimps.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm beating this guy up. So now I have some skills. You can see they kind of time down. I do have energy. I'm gonna get killed again. Watch this. Move closer, yelling at me. So there's a default attack. You can see I'm beating them up. They're kind of beating me up a bit, but we're gonna continue. See, oh look, I did a little bit of knockback. Yay me! Waiting for these to cool down, and I'm gonna kill some more. I don't know what I actually just did there. I guess decreased enemy damage, but the combat is okay. I actually have the sound turned way down to try to combat Jeremy's quietness. So. There is sound in the game. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's actually... I enjoy the sound. We can kind of turn it up a bit, but there's like birds chirping. And footsteps. Yeah, I'm sorry about the dog.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I wanted to look at some of the things that they talked about from the Kickstarter. So I see here that they had talked about doing up to 3 different kinds of network play. Yeah. Just a single-player online mode, friend party online, and open play online. And I wonder if they implemented anything of that sort at all.
I don't know how to delete things. Yes, they have some of it. So right now I'm actually in multiplayer online. So this is essentially the, call it an MMO version. If another player came running into this zone, we'd see them run past. If they were in here killing monsters, they'd kill monsters in our instance, etc. and so forth. There is currently the single player online. So as you play, you have an online character. It can actually be the same character, which is kind of neat. So I could log in... failed. I could log into this character in single player. Say maybe I just want to do some gathering of ingredients like I'm doing now, or I just want to jump in and do some crafting. I don't really want to fuss with a bunch of people running around. I'm just trying to get in and get out. It seems great for that, right? So I like adventuring with other players around as long as they're not being complete trolls. I think it kind of makes it interesting. But that is available. The totally offline single player is not available yet. So I don't know when that's...
Through some of the other items on here, just the stretch goals. So originally the campaign was, they asked for $1 million. Mm-hmm. They got 1.9 million by the time the Kickstarter ended. Just going down the list here, so first of all they said there will be a pet system. Are there pets in this game?
I don't know if there's taming yet, as in, like, I can go up to this bear that I'm actually going to axe in the face and tame it and make it a pet. I did see in my bank that there is a way for me to, maybe we'll check that out as soon as I kill this poor, harmless, wild animal. It looked like there was a way I could summon like a mini pet type, maybe a non-combative companion.
In fact, actually, on their list of features, the pet system, just having a basic pet system, 1.1 million, so $100,000 for pets. Taming of beasts and certain monsters to act as pets, 1.4 million. So they did get to that stretch goal as well. Yeah, so it's 2 different things.
And that was sort of one of the staple classes in Ultima Online that I found really interesting. Is you could tame up to dragons in that game. You could actually tame dragons, and they would follow you around, and you could command them and have them attack, and you had to feed them. You could actually tame horses and ride the horses, and there was mounted combat. It was amazing. Alright, so this guy's gone.
Another item on here. I don't know if this is a good way to handle this, but I'm just going down the list to see what.
Go for it.
So seasonal weather was another item. They said that game-changing weather would be a feature.
I'm not sure if that's in. I do want to say I've seen it. There's only a 4% chance of being successful here. I'm gonna not subject our viewers to that. I believe I have seen it rain. I believe I've seen it at night. I'm not sure if it's by zone right now or if it's actually implemented to be dynamic. I want to say that the day-night cycle certainly is. I don't know about weather, though.
All right.
And again, it's been a while since I've played this in earnest.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a few months since I've played this. A few updates since I've played it. sort of
when
steady.
That being the case, is there? So I'm a little confused here as to the difference between the online modes versus just a single-player story mode. I mean, is there an actual campaign here, or is it mostly wander around and see if things work?
Right now, I don't believe there is a campaign. There are quests, as you could kind of see in my journal, which you get from NPCs from talking to them. They don't have quest markers above their head or any other sort of indication as far as I can tell. So that's kind of interesting. You're kind of encouraged to just talk to the NPCs, which there is a talking system, a dialogue system. I'm not sure if that was on there or part of the original, but you know, back in the old Ultima days, you would walk up to someone and say, you know, hello, or I would like to buy your stuff, and you would type it out. That is in the game. They do provide for the uninitiated. Here, we'll go talk to one of these people. For the uninitiated, sort of a kind of a cheat mode where certain like hot buttons you can click, like hey, oh, well met, I'm Lindo, would you care for some bark bread? It's not my finest work. So
I mean, there's really only 3 dialogue options that you need in a game that comes from Ultima, right?
Yeah.
Name,
buy, sell.
Buy. Yep.
Yeah.
Name, job, buy.
Yep. So I don't know. So like you can talk to this lady, and I can say goodbye, and she'll be like, "Yeah, see ya, dude." So that's kind of cool. I super enjoy that. Oh, this guy, actually, I've done some of this quest. So I learned this guy's name earlier by talking to him. And so before he was just called Traveler. Now he's called Iron Sword. Oh. Iron Blade. Yes. Yeah, look at that. So you actually had to talk to the guy. How cool is that? I totally dig that.
I don't know how to get that. Get sword.
Get sword. Yeah, exactly. And so you'd kind of fiddle with it. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Let's go check out the bank and see if those were pets that I saw earlier. I don't know why there's random skeletons laying on the road. That's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, they are kind of just flopping around. So in addition to, so they also have interactive musical instruments. That was a whole bullet point on Kickstarter. Unleash your inner bard. We'll be adding interactive pianos, harps, lutes, flutes, and drums.
I don't know if those are in. Player housing is definitely in, which was a huge thing.
Yes.
All those buildings we just ran past.
They got to the interesting stuff.
So here, like this building straight ahead, player housing. In fact, we'll go check those out here in a minute. Let me find the inn, which I'm doing by looking at signs on the building. Here we go. I believe there's a banker in here. Yeah, Margot. Excellent. Hey, Margot. How's it going? Okay, so here's the bank. Chicken taunt emote. I got a lot of real weird stuff. Facepalm emote. That sounds pretty good. Oh, here's a loot. This could be good. Alright, let's see what we got here.
We're about to verify it. Let's confirm.
Oh, it's a placeholder. So, music not in yet. Or it appears that music is not in here.
So close. Let's see, what else here? Looks like they added a special Kickstarter tier for a stretch goal for a new island content set and shipping lanes. So, transatlantic shipping lanes. Oh, I'm sorry, that's for other languages, so localization to German, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian. But also in addition to that, I guess they were sort of going for a boat theme there, but they also added some kind of special island area that you can get to by boat.
I don't believe that is in. From looking at the overland map, it's one little piece of the overall projected game world. The rest of it being, you know, off in the sea somewhere. If there's a way to get to it, I have not found it. So this is a player house. I don't think it'll... well, let me go in. Sweet. Okay. So all this stuff. Yeah, it probably won't let me. But so all of this is obviously not very heavily decorated, but this is all player... Here we go. this is definitely not working yet. But you can open it.
No.
You can open it and be sad.
Well, that's a start. That's a start.
So all this furniture is placed by a player, which is pretty cool. Obviously, they have very little.
Well, that's definitely one of the items on the list. In fact, that was a higher tier one. That was the $2 million stretch mark. So that was in fact, that was the last one that they successfully reached during the Kickstarter campaign.
Interesting.
Castles and keeps owned by players or guilds. Guilds can declare war against other guilds. Guilds can declare full-time PvP.
Yeah.
Guild house, guild bank. I mean, this is a pretty elaborate system.
So the latest update, I'm not sure if it was 18 or 19, which is the current one. There's another player you can see right there, being derping around. They did add. Maybe we can run over real quick. We've got a few minutes. They did add player cities. So if you played Star Wars Galaxies, you're going to be familiar with this. Ultima Online was technically sort of capable of player cities, but they were, just there was no official system for it, right? A player, a dozen players could flop down some houses, put some vendors, an armor vendor in this house and a bow vendor in this house and call it a player city. Okay. This map looks different, so I'm completely lost. Solace Bridge. Okay. Since the last time I've played, they have made an art pass on this map. And I do believe you can get random encounters wandering the wilderness if you stay on the path, a la, Link, NES Link. You're less likely to get attacked, but it's still possible. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm kind of running in the dark here.
Yeah, you just dropped a Zelda 2 reference, didn't you, there?
Yeah. That's pretty good, I think. As like the last Zelda game I played was Zelda and Link 2.
Well, let me run through a couple. There's only a couple more tiers that I haven't talked about. So
all right, let's do this.
Down the list here. So the next one down was dynamic and contested resource nodes. Meteorites, volcanic eruptions, outbreaks of rare plants and animals appear and vanish suddenly, both online and offline, for those who are paying attention.
I have not seen that. That has absolutely no bearing on whether that's in or not. I'm completely stuck in the swamp. That could be in. I don't know.
Along with that tier, optional mini-map system for the directionally impaired.
I don't think I have seen a mini-map, but it might be in here.
Okay. It was a little bit of a higher tier thing. They might be working their way up to it. And then the let's see, two more that we didn't talk about yet. One was involvement by Tracy Hickman, a serialized novel.
That is in work. I have seen them releasing it like chapter by chapter.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I have not read any of it because I'm not one to read a novel chapter by chapter. I would rather wait till it all comes out and I'll read it. If it's good.
Along with that, catacomb system and a massive interconnected underworld with a story and ecology all its own.
I cannot imagine that is in. I have not seen it.
No.
They are adding new zones very frequently though.
Good. Another item on here, an apprentice system, allowing players with master level skills to help lower skilled players advance more quickly.
Curious.
So that's probably also coming along. And then the very last one that we haven't talked about yet is the world is a stage, a city center theater building, which can be rented by an individual or group for performance. Only approved individuals may enter backstage or onstage. Player must pay to enter seating areas. Viewers may only emote, such as claps. Money goes to performers for their performance. Usable for weddings and other community events. And then they also have added a full complement of masks and costumes for use at various events. So this is, I guess, just a dedicated entertainment center, I guess.
It's kind of cool. That was, honestly, that was one of my favorite parts. I actually think I just locked the game up. One of my favorite parts of Star Wars Galaxies was that, people played that game as entertainers. Of course, they were all Twilight, but
oh yeah, they
whatever.
would dance all day.
And like it would buff. You would get buffs from it, and people would just sit there and like tip you all day long. It was amazing. It was really kind of neat to see that kind of thing come up. So I hope a system like that really takes off. Seeing as we have not figured out that music is in yet, I cannot imagine that is a thing. It may exist somewhere physically in the world,
right.
but it would probably be pretty dull.
Well, I have to say, I haven't, you know, kind of even just reading this stuff has been kind of, I mean, it's kind of exciting to see what they plan to put in. I mean, the schedule, honestly, they seem to be way beyond the anticipated schedule. Some of this stuff is, you know, get your name permanently listed in the Domesday book was supposed to be delivered October 2014 for backers at that level. In fact, a lot of stuff was supposed to be delivered October 2014. And I'm not sure. Getting a rent-free town-level house deed, things like that. So I think, like most of these things, and you know, as we look at more early access games, I suspect that we're going to see a running theme of, you know, those kinds of situations, just late delivery. But you know, even just reading through this, I'm kind of excited. I did not back this. Even as a fan of the Ultima series, it wasn't something that I really felt comfortable throwing a lot of money at, but it is kind of neat to see what they had envisioned for this. I wonder sort of where their headspace is right now. I mean, is this something? Are they still talking about the game at all? Do they? I mean, they do regular updates here, so on the Kickstarter.
Very frequent updates. In fact, yeah, it looks like the server went down, but which is actually the first time I've ever had that happen on me. So I'm not sure if they're doing maintenance. Maybe I'm just unaware. Maybe it was just a hiccup in my internet. I don't know. The updates are coming. They're coming frequently, and they are large when they come. They're not just little 1 or 2 little bug fixes. They are full up, you know, massive features coming in, new zones. They put in a new skybox for some maps. So this is probably it. You know, they're definitely working on it. Like I said, the last time I played this overworld map was 100% different. It was very basic, very rudimentary. This obviously has had some art love.
You know, and they say that in some of these things, the astral bodies. I mean, that was sort of a facet of the Ultima series where, you know, the phases of the moon would open moon gates to different, different areas. Yeah, exactly. And they sort of give the impression here that you know, one of the tiers was for one of the stretch goals was for a lost veil that would appear only, you know, upon the alignment of the correct heavenly bodies. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So kind of looking at that, and, you know, this is something you mentioned the art, and this was something that when I had seen you play this before, it definitely looked a lot more simple. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
So.
It's definitely coming along. Definitely coming along. So you can actually see here. I think that's what this is. Moongate. No, this is just decoration. Moongates are in. You can use them to get around the world from the major cities. I don't know if Grey Acre is a player town. I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the player towns, although this looks kind of devoid of your typical NPC buildings, which tend to be more clustered. So very well could be. Crafting is definitely in already. I think this is maybe available to me. I'll just walk right through the table, no big deal. So this has had a pass as well. You can see it's very animated, which is kind of cool. But you can learn new things, you can experiment and learn new things. You know, I don't know whereas I actually have any ingredients to do any of this. So whatever. But I have done crafting before in a previous update. One thing I will say, I don't know if they are still doing it. I do know a few updates ago they did a character wipe. So if you get into play, just be aware of that. Although they were discussing in one of their patch notes, and this is a really interesting concept that I've not seen before, at least in any of the games I've played. When they're doing the character wipes, so say I jump in and I level my guy up to, you know, I don't know, level 20 and whatever. They do have a buff such that when your character wipes, the next time you come in and play, you will have drastically increased experience gain up until the point where you were wiped from. So kind of a fast track back to where you were, which is a real interesting concept.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
So just kind of be aware of that. If you jump in and play, kind of check it out and enjoy it. It's definitely enjoyable. It's definitely fun. It has stayed installed on my hard drive since I played it last, and I always keep meaning to jump back in it despite you being completely inundated with games to play. But
there's a lot out there.
Yep, there's definitely a lot out there. Okay, I think this is a player town, and it is in fact a PvP zone, so we will check it out. But they also have player events if you're into that kind of thing going frequently. In fact, I had a book open listing it out, which is kind of neat that the developers are so engaged with the kind of the community in a sense that those books are part of the update. Let me show it real quick here. So player events, you get this in your inventory when you log in each patch, and it's like weekdays at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. I mean, like there's a schedule for events that players are doing. So on Mondays there's a challenge dungeon run at this times. You can go join in and check it out. So there is fun to be had. There is a community built up around this already. You can definitely jump in, have fun, check it out, enjoy it. I believe you can still purchase upgrades and stuff like that. This is probably going to kick me out of the game. Yeah, open a browser so you won't be able to see it on the stream, but it's worth checking out. I like it a lot. I'm really excited for the final product, for the concept of the full game. Again, I'm a big fan of Ultima Online. Is still basically like my dream game back when it came out. Of course, it changed a lot, and it kind of lost its luster over time. But those kinds of systems where it was really a livable world that you were in, playing music or taming animals or farming or crafting, all these things that you could do, making houses, making communities, was really interesting.
One of the famous quotes about Ultima, about baking bread.
Yeah,
that was a big deal. Can you bake bread? I mean, it sort of became a little bit of a joke, but that was one of the hallmarks of those games at the time, was that you could take everyday elements that you might not normally care about in a hack and slash adventure kind of game.
Yep.
And you could make food, and you could do domestic kinds of things, and these interlocking systems actually functioned with one another. So.
Yep. Exactly. So if you're interested in open world, here it is, open world. It will have a single player element available at I guess at launch, probably sometime before then. I'm not really sure when that'll happen. But if you're not interested in an open world MMO per se, you'll be able to enjoy this game in that way as well. So I would definitely check it out. That's shroudoftheavatar.com. I like it a lot, and maybe we'll check in maybe a little bit later this year. They do patches quite a bit, so maybe.
Well, let's just one last thing though. So when when is their target date to actually launch this as a final product?
That is a good question.
Do you have a sense of that, or?
I know they've
again, a lot of the deadlines on the site would say October of last year.
Yeah, I think 2016 is their date. I don't know particularly within that when they're planning to release, but I want to say it's not going to be this year.
No. Well, and just looking at some of the ambitious, this was this particular campaign. In fact, let me look at this. This was being funded. I was just looking at it. I mean, this was a fairly early Kickstarter. I mean, that rubric has sort of evolved a little bit. I mean, games are. This was in March 2013. So this was 2 years ago, in the very early Kickstarter era, where 2 million was pretty good. But now we're talking about Shenmue and things like that, where they get 2 million and the developers later say, well, actually we need 10 million to do
right.
Experience. And I mean, it's a pretty modest take for some of the really ambitious goals that they've set up for this game.
Yeah, and one of the things to kind of be aware of, I think you just said it, but their Kickstarter stopped at two-ish, somewhere in there, million. They've been taking pledges on their website. They're actually up to 6.5 million total.
Oh,
so
good. Okay.
They're kind of taking in some more money, which is great, because I look at some of these Kickstarter budgets and just think, yeah, right. So they are bringing in more money, more players still wanting to join in, which you absolutely still can back it. I believe you can just. I'm not sure if you can just purchase it directly from Steam, but it is out on Steam. That's in fact how I'm playing. It's all integrated, which is nice. And I just was looking at their latest update. I did not see a release date targeted, but I do see that they do have scheduled every month a patch. Release 20 in July, release 21 in August, release 22 in September. So basically a patch every month. Tons of updates.
Well, it sounds like they're really trying to stick with it, so that's good. I mean, that's more than you can say for some of these projects.
Yeah, for sure. They go dark for half a year, and you wonder what it all means.
That's right.
Here, I'm in their FAQ. Well, they do say estimated launch date 2015. I wonder if the FAQ just needs to be updated, but
highly estimated date.
Yeah. That's right. All right, so I think that's it, unless I didn't see any questions from the audience. So, Shroud of the Avatar, definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. So hit us up on Twitter. We're over at gameBYTES Show.
I was going to say, talk about our podcast. We do a bi-weekly show twice a week. We talk about what we've been playing once a week. We talk about news, new releases, and special topic of the week also. So you can find us, as I rudely interrupted him, it's gamebytesshow.com. You can find information there. You can also see the archive of this stream. If you're just joining us a little late, you can find this stream and others on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/gamebytesshow. And you were going to say on Twitter, so go ahead. I'll throw it back to you for that.
Yeah, so at gameBYTES Show on Twitter. You can find myself at red_I on Twitter.
You can find me at Jeremy_Lamont. And you can also find our compatriots who typically are there for the podcast. Legrand Jolly at Legrand and Dale Jones, Count Elmdor at Count_Elmdor. And all of us, any of us, are happy to hear from you. And we appreciate you joining us tonight. And we look forward to you joining us for our podcast.
Thank you, and sayonara.